Stickergate continues. Yesterday, I was on Threads when Rachel's husband chimed in. You see, I grabbed this screenshot within 2 minutes of it being posted. I just happened to be on Threads. And I'm going to do a deeper dive because it seems like Rachel has some mental issues or Rachel is just problematic. But here's her husband. He gives this notice or this post or whatever. He says, Mr. Doodles here. If your mission is to cause Rachel grave emotional harm, then congratulations. Mission accomplished. We are also very much aware of the harm caused to Rachel's friends and core community. Please consider that none of her defenders have done anything to deserve harassment. They are among the most hurt by this whole situation. Call Mr. Doodles fake or another contrivance. Believe what you will, but please consider that real people are being really hurt. Now, this is very passive. He says, congratulations, mission accomplished. Like Rachel is really hurting right now, but it seems like Rachel is the one that started all of this kerfuffle or brouhaha, and now she's in trouble because it has blown back on her. But then people started looking into her and that they see that she has been problematic for a while. I'm not doing a dive into that right now, but I'm going to look at some of the things that she has done because she has been getting these emails from these people for a while. And this situation with Michelle, it just happened to go viral. So maybe she was just playing up until this point, but now she played a bit too much. She made a good chunk of money, I think. And it just went too far too fast. And now she's having emotional problems because of her own situation. So this is Lianna, or Grumpy Greetings Co. She says, I got an apology this morning. This was yesterday. I took these screenshots yesterday. She says, I got an apology this morning. And listen, I appreciate it. I really do. But the damage is already done. Not just to me, but to other small business owners who got dragged into this mess. We've now been labeled as untrustworthy because of someone else's fear and confusion. I've been accused of conspiring with the person I barely know. My name, my business, my integrity, all questioned. Let's look at this email from Rachel. It's titled Apology and Accountability. It says, Hi, Lianna. I want to sincerely apologize for my actions this week and the harm they caused you. When I asked my assistant, Rachel Heil, to have my VIP members report comments that might have been encouraging doxing or harassment, I was acting out of fear and confusion. I was blocked from seeing the interactions and mistakenly assumed that personal information was being shared. That assumption was wrong, and I take full responsibility for the impact it had. That right there is BS. Because if she has an assistant named Rachel Heil could have been looking at Lianna's page to see what was being said. To automatically send out people to harass and dox this woman was out of pocket and a lie. I also recognize that my own hurt led me to misinterpret your post and see them as attacks instead of expressions of your feelings. That reaction caused more harm, and I'm sorry for that. You didn't deserve to be put in that position, and I regret my part in escalating things instead of handling them privately and calmly. I'm committed to learning from this, repairing what I can, and making sure my actions going forward don't perpetuate further harm. I respect you and your work, and I'm truly sorry for how this unfolded. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I wish you peace and healing from all of this too. Rachel. So that was the apology. I think that this sounds like some BS, but you would have to chime in and let me know your thoughts on that. Lianna says, Grumpy Greetings was built from the ground up after I got laid off last year. 1 year of late nights, a F-ton of anxiety, and working my butt off to make this dream real. And in a matter of days, that hard work got stomped on because someone decided to twist a narrative instead of asking questions. I'm genuinely hurt. I've worked too hard to build this community with honesty, transparency, and humor to suddenly be painted as something I'm not. And this is where people can apologize, but folks don't have to accept your apology. The hurt and damage are done. An apology letter, an email is not going to wipe away what happened and the fallout because of someone's actions. An apology doesn't wipe away everything and make the slate clean. She says words like accountability sound nice in an email, but they don't fix real world harm that's already been done to my shop, to my reputation, to my peace, and to other makers just trying to survive. Accountability means showing up publicly without being pushed, not quietly when the smoke clears. I'm not sharing this to start drama. I'm sharing this because this is my livelihood. I got rent, food, bills, vet visits, and sticker paper to pay for. Small business owners don't get to hide behind confusion. We live with the fallout. I'm moving forward, but don't mistake that for forgetting. Please shop the pinned post on my page. A lot of wonderful people posted there. Also, if you have the capacity, please donate to my Feeding America campaign. Thank you. Fairy Tale Mindy says, I sincerely apologize to you for my part in amplifying speculation. The internet is a wild place. And then Lianna says, while I appreciate your apology, you just kept going, and pardon my French, but for a Disney adult to be so hurtful is effing insane. And then Fairy Tale Mindy says, that's fair. I tried my best to be balanced towards both sides while discussing the drama, but I totally understand the pain you must feel. I didn't see the interaction, but Grumpy Greetings Co. is like, F your apology. Why did you do This is crazy to me. I was told yesterday that there is always a lot of drama in the sticker community and the stationery community. I had no clue about all of this until yesterday. I'll end with this one. So this person at the top says, has Michelle apologized as well? And Lianna says, I screamed. And then that person says, I would genuinely reply asking if Michelle regrets her actions too. And that's where we'll end that. But like I said, I see that Rachel has been doing this for a while. She has been getting emails from other people. And I'm going to see what all she has been saying and see if I need to do another follow-up. Because if she's been this problematic, I don't know. Maybe we just need to explore just a little bit more. But I'm going to end this one now. So this is the latest update in Stickergate. Who knew Stickergate would be a thing? Y'all remember this scene from a couple of weeks ago where Miss Roberta McCoy down here came up to the front of the church. She presented her donation. She presented her tithes and offering to Pastor Marvin Winans. And then he embarrassed her. The whole congregation laughed. She came down at the wrong time. She did not have $2,000. And then she got embarrassed. So this story was all over the place, obviously, but I will continue to say it. The church game is like a pimpocracy. Pastor tells them to go out there and bring some money back. Go out there and work and bring some money back. And the women build up the church. Women are the backbone of the church. And this woman, she got embarrassed because she needed to go back out there and make some more money to bring it back to Bishop Marvin Winans. A lot of people called this and said it was going to happen. But Miss Roberta went on the news to defend her pastor. We knew it was going to happen. She said, I came down at the wrong time. This was my fault for not listening. So she put herself out there to body block for this pimp pastor pork chop, Marvin Winans. Here's Miss Roberta McCoy. So this is her Facebook page, and right under her name it says, Child of Almighty God, His servant, mother, grandmother, sister, friend, and so much more. So this is Miss Roberta right here. And this looks like the little boy that she brought down to the front of the church with her. Here's her Facebook post. You can tell that she's pissed off. She's pissed off in the Christian way, though. She says, it's like I'm turning invisible now. I'm no longer useful to them. I served my purpose. I was only damage control. They wanted to protect the name, protect the brand. Their cause of concern has stopped when the media storm stopped. I see that with wide open eyes now. They turned on me. They blame me. Now it's all my fault. They say I'm the one that owes Pastor Winans an apology. They say I need to grow up. I need to be an adult about this. My heart is broken. I'm fading away. My big heart for people is shrinking into a shallow heartbeat. I can hardly hear my own heartbeat anymore. I'm becoming someone that I don't know. My heartbeats are slower now. I'm fading. Can you still see me? I was Roberta McCoy. Who am I now? Can you find me? Do you see me? Where am I? My beautiful soul has been replaced with this broken soul. Where am I? Where is my life? Can you find me? Can you see me? Can you find a remnant of me left? I can't see myself anymore through these tears. She is crying over this. Can you see me? Am I totally invisible yet? This feels like an out-of-body experience. This feels like a nightmare stuck on repeat button. Can you still see me? I'm turning into a shadow. The light in my eyes are dimmer. I'm fading. Can you see me? This woman is heartbroken because she came down and she was embarrassed. Then she was used and discarded. I'm wondering if she's even still at this church. This was the last post that I saw from her that's public. This must have been the fundraiser link where she was raising that extra $200, where she was trying to raise $1,000. So this was from September 29th. She says, please give. Perfecting Church Detroit, Bishop-elect Marvin L. Winans, pastor. So she was trying to raise these funds for this church with a pastor who is from a wealthy family, a wealthy celebrity family, and people like her sitting up here trying to find nickels and dimes to give to these churches, whereas they probably have the money to just build up this church and won't do it. But they need to do it off the backs and bodies of the congregation, a congregation that is mostly women. And that's the reason why I say that this is just a pimp game, because women have to go out there, get that. It's just a different kind of pimp game. She's using her body to go to work, and in this case doing a fundraiser, but she still came up with that $1,000, and she came up with this $235. So you could see that her heart was in the right place. She was doing what, for the Lord. She is a child of God. But now she's also discarded because she's not valuable to her church anymore. And I'm wondering if she's going to stick and stay in a place where she is no longer useful, where she is being made to or shamed into apologizing for being embarrassed on national TV, all over social media. She's being made to. This is Darvo in action, the reverse victim offender. She's the one that's now the offender, and pimp pastor Marvin Winans is the victim. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think of this and how she feels right now. Let me know what you think. I did this story last week and I wanted to do a follow-up because she did do a follow-up. She posted this in the 2X chromosome subreddit, and I'll just read through it so nobody has to find it, especially if you are new here. This lady says, I'm going to end up right and it sucks. I've been married for 15 years this next week, and I don't think my husband is going to remember our anniversary. He can tell you when hunting season starts for deer, turkey, and even duck. He can spend all sorts of energy and time researching and prepping for hunting season. But my birthday, our anniversary, holidays, etc., I have to remind him that they are important too. After my birthday this year, where all I wanted was finger food and my friends for a couple of hours, I gave up. I had to remind him 2 weeks before to plan my party. That's the only gift I wanted from him, was a little effort to show I matter. No big gifts, just happy memories with people I love. I still had to remind him, and he got upset about forgetting and having to do it, which made me feel bad for upsetting him, like WTF is wrong with me. Trust, I'm waiting on a therapist to become available in my network. Such a pain. Well, now here is our 15th anniversary coming up in 3 days, and I know he won't remember. He never does. I got him a card and I'll give it to him. I won't react out of anger. I won't cry in front of him because it gives him a chance to try to make himself feel less guilty for forgetting us again. So I'm not going to go through all of the comments, but I did want to bring an update. She says, edit update. I do like to go back and see because we knew that her anniversary was supposed to be 3 days later. So let's check out the update. He remembered. He had an appointment yesterday, and when he came home, he had flowers with him. He said he was sorry he wouldn't be home for our anniversary because of work, which I wasn't bothered by. It was him forgetting that was hurtful. He admitted that he saw the date when he was at his appointment and said, oh, and started looking up a place for a reservation, which we both agreed was all right food, but a nice place. We went for a walk, which we haven't done together in I don't know how long. We both talked about things we wanted to work on in our marriage, and we both agree we need to make time to spend together as a couple and not just two people managing lives together. I told him I'm getting into therapy and couples wouldn't hurt. He had a mother who doctor shopped in the 90s, so he has some hefty psychological scars with therapists. That's an uphill battle on an avalanche. He agreed that his focus has been solely on him and his interests, and that isn't okay. He surprised me again and took the steps to plan a date next weekend too. Shocked the hell out of me because he even picked something that we both will enjoy. Came home and watched Welcome to Derry together. So we have a positive update. She was thinking the worst was going to happen, and she probably has been disappointed enough to where she knew not to get her hopes up, but he came through for her, and I'm glad that he did. Hopefully, she still has some sense to protect herself a little bit until she sees that this becomes a habit where he actually takes an active interest in her and doing things together as a couple. But in this case, he came through. I'm going to use that post to segue into this post. This dude has a realization that he has not been showing up into his own marriage. This all just kind of fits. Women are sitting up here clamoring like, look at me, pay attention. Hey, we're in a couple. Hey. And this dude is starting to see that he has a wife. All right, so he posted this in the marriage subreddit yesterday. He says, I realized I haven't been showing up. I don't know why he put showing up in quotes in my marriage, and now I feel ashamed. We've been married 8 years. I always thought we had a good balance. We both work, we both try. But last week, something just clicked in a way that I can't unsee now. My wife got sick. Nothing serious, but the kind of sick where everything feels heavy. And watching her move around the house, still doing laundry, still making grocery lists, still texting her sister about a birthday gift, all while I sat there asking, do you need anything? Made me feel like an idiot. She handles so much invisible stuff I never even noticed because it just happened. Appointments, cards for family, keeping track of when we need more toothpaste, remembering to wash the guest sheets before my mom visits. I suddenly saw how much our life rests on her quiet effort. When I told her I was sorry, she laughed like it was nothing and said, that's just how my brain works. And maybe it is, but I don't want to be someone who only notices the weight when she drops it. So this week I'm learning, I'm watching, I'm trying to take things off her plate without asking her to hand them to me first. It's uncomfortable to realize you're the one who's been coasting, but I guess this is part of being married too, seeing the blind spots and choosing to do better. Now, even in this woman is sick. He knows that she's sick. And what did he do as he watched her still do the laundry? He just watched. While he watched her still making the grocery list, he just watched. While he watched her moving around and doing all of things, he watched her. He's taking notes mentally and all of that, but he just couldn't just do anything physically. He just sat there and watched. And he says somewhere in this, it says like an idiot. He sat there and just watched like an idiot. And instead of just not being an idiot and taking things off of her plate, he's just watching. He's still being passive. The language in this is still just so passive. But at least the seed has been planted in how much she will do regardless of what's going on. Great. Let's see if that expands and turns into anything, because yes, she's the one that's going to keep there is no laundry fairy. There is no toothpaste fairy. There is no fairy that just magically gets all of the ingredients for dinner. There's no fairies for this. She's handling all of this. And now he knows and understands that the wife is the one doing this, not a fairy. But still, he says that he's going to try to take some things off of her plate without her asking. But his voice is so passive. It's just like, ugh. Okay, but the fact that he typed this, remember the bar is in hell. Actually, the bar is underneath Satan's balls right now. the bar. So people are going to be in the comments like, ooh, yay, you see her, because just seeing her is enough for some of these people, because some of these people don't see anything. But that's just how far the bar is in hell. Let's look at a couple of the comments though. Booty Wombat, now that's a name, says, dude, 100% feel you, but to be honest, you got to shape up or ship out. And then that read says, true, at least he's realizing it now though. That's a good first step. If he actually follows through. That's the reason why I said the bar is in Satan's balls, or underneath Satan's balls, because we are doing the at least. At least he's noticing. True Cap says, totally. It's all about stepping up and showing that you see her effort for sure. So seeing it is enough. But, we're going to get to the point where we start just taking some of it off of her hands. Do Bobcat says, realizing it is the hard part, but that self-awareness is huge. That's how real change starts. Fast Time Clapmont says, most people get defensive when faced with this kind of realization. OP took accountability instead, and that's huge. He hasn't taken any action, but he took accountability. Eats at Applebee says, he reached that conclusion too at the end of his post. Pilot Time says, what the hell does that mean? The whole shape up or ship out. Shape up or ship out means actually do the work or leave. He has the realization. Cool. You can have a realization. I have a realization that I need more money. But unless I go and get the money, having the realization doesn't do anything. Monday Night says, triers try and doers do. You clearly see what is being done in front of your eyes. Do some of it. Share the load. She will appreciate it or share feedback otherwise. Now is the time. I'm going to end that there, but like Monday Night says, triers try and doers do. You need to be a doer. Just get things done. See something that needs to be done. Use your eyes and just put in the effort. If people just put in some effort, the bar is so low where it comes to these people that they could just scale it, and then people will be like, he finally sees me. All right, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about these two, the update and this man's realization. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This post kind of made me laugh. This man is asking this question: why people keep recommending having hobbies and making friends if you want to get a date? He asked this question in the dating advice subreddit. He says, firstly, that almost never happens, especially for males. And secondly, that sounds desperate, like you're there just to get some company. Isn't that insincere? I don't care about any of that. I have already a single hobby that I can barely do these days since I'm tired, work at night sometimes. So I don't care about having another one. People keep saying that women can spell desperation in men. Well, that move, it's extremely desperate for someone like me. Sorry if I sound bitter, but try to live 35 years of life without ever being loved and not feeling bitter. So this goes along with the fact that there is a male loneliness epidemic turning into a mandemic, but he doesn't want to or can't put himself out there. He doesn't feel like making hobbies, going anywhere, or making friends. I don't know how he's supposed to magically meet somebody. I have no clue. But I clicked into his profile to see, was he making any comments somewhere? And he has them protected. So I started going through the post, just kind of, trying to see if he popped in to answer the questions, like where he's supposed to meet these women. So let's look at some of these posts together. Let's look at some of these comments together. T18 says, it's like you never know what new human connection will lead you to another human connection. And making friends is a great way to get introduced to new social circles full of new people that might or might not be your future partner. Also, having a social group to hang out with makes one feel less lonely. Also, having hobbies make you sound like an interesting person, which will help attract a future partner. Sadder, older, wiser says, excellent summary. I'd much rather date someone that goes to a book club or a hiking club and has things to talk about than Mr. Why won't women just show up to my house to share my sad existence? Exactly. He's like, why do I even want to make friends? Why do I want to go somewhere? Like, where are you supposed to meet these people? She says, met my most recent partner through a game meetup. T18 says, right? I can't stand someone whose only pastime is sitting in front of a TV like a zombie, humming along with commercials. Dr. Shocker says, my dad is this way, and it makes calling home somewhat boring. The OP simply says, this is the OP. The OP says, I don't watch TV. Okay, cool. So he doesn't watch TV. He has one hobby. Okay. All right, so let's keep going. Let's see if he tells us more about himself. Serene Brutality says that, and it fills your life some, gives you a little extra purpose, distracts you. When your life is fuller, you're generally happier. People are drawn to happiness, fun, good vibes. If you have no hobbies and your life is empty, you're a bit sadder, a bit more desperate for a connection. Desperation stinks to women, especially more than anything. In effect, women want to be added to your life, not be its center. Well, at least in the beginning, what appeals to people in the courting phase often is different from what they need in the full relationship phase, but that's a different discussion. Here's the OP again saying, I'm not desperate for not having a hobby, dude, and I don't chase anyone. All right, so he's not desperate for a hobby and he's not chasing anyone. So it does sound like he's literally expecting like a DoorDash of sorts to drop off a woman at his doorstep. What's funny to me about this post, these people are writing multiple paragraphs and attempting to help this man. And then he's just coming back with one or two sentences like, I don't watch TV. He just sounds boring, but this is Purple Amory saying exactly. Also, people are either static, boring, or dynamic, exciting. Dynamic people get dates far easier than static people. People love to talk to dynamic people, and people feel bored talking to static people. Static equals you don't learn new hobbies, you don't constantly meet new friends, you don't challenge your life philosophies, so you don't ever learn. You are set in your ways and don't take risk in life. Dynamic, you are constantly finding new hobbies and trying out new meetups. You constantly meet new and interesting friends. You challenge yourself to grow in various ways. You'll sometimes do silly things and make you look dumb, but that same curious and give zero F's energy will also get you 100 times more attention than the typical guy or girl trying to look cool and not doing something unusual. My advice, life gets better in all ways, not in just dating. The more you're able to get out of your comfort zone, the more you can be introspective and treat mistakes or embarrassment as learning opportunities, and the more socially engaging you are. Call Me Pete says, some people should watch Yes Man for a good example of what this means, even if it's a little over the top. This person at the bottom says, I love that movie, and when I was in a slump, it helped me to follow the basic principle. So you see, these people are really trying with this man that does not seem that receptive. Here's the OP's response. I don't, and I can't stomach mistakes or silly. I'm sorry, but I do give an F. He does not seem like he is approachable. He does not seem like he cares about this advice. It honestly seems like this post was just to whine. Rocket Sneaker says, I feel like this doesn't really answer the root of OP's question though. OP is saying that you can't just go out and find another hobby like unlocking a new side quest in a game. Firstly, you usually have to have some sort of interest in that hobby, and you're giving someone this advice. Chances are that person has explored most of their hobbies already anyway. Any new hobby that they'd find isn't one they'd have been interested in enough to explore deeper in a social aspect. And so doing so would feel very forced. So in the end, you're not finding a new hobby out of enjoyment. You're doing so because you feel forced. But also, secondly, you wouldn't be doing so out of enjoyment anyway because you'd mainly be doing it to find a new partner. This feels disingenuous and it just feels wrong. So Mature Model says, OP's hobbies are basic housework, YouTube, gaming, and corn. Yes, he needs to have some interest in any hobby he might try, but also it's not crazy to suggest he think about whether there are any additional activities he might like to add to his life. Maybe even one that gets him fresh air and increased blood flow so he doesn't drop dead at 40. So Mature Model must have seen OP make another comment. That's the reason why I'm going through these comments, because I'm trying to figure out what OP likes. But here's OP. He's responding to someone else above saying, only if I care about having a hobby. I cannot fake interest. I'm very honest. All right, I'm about to skip down to where we figure out what OP actually does day to day. Colson says, what the F you mean if you care about having a hobby? What the F do you do day to day? Stare at a wall? The OP says, if I'm not working, I sleep or buy some groceries and clean my room or stuff. YouTube, gaming, and corn. A pet rock. A pet rock would be more interesting than this man. And he's wondering why DoorDash has not brought him the perfect date. Because why would they? Why would any woman be knocking on this man's door? He doesn't go anywhere. He cleans up, he buys some groceries, and he watches YouTube, gaming, or corn. Absolutely not. This dude is he's not taking any suggestions. He doesn't want to get out for air. He's not even doing the whole typical gym as a personality type of thing. This dude is going to stay stuck in this mandemic. All right, y'all. I'm going to end that there. I thought that was interesting, and it was like pulling teeth to get to this point. It was pulling teeth. He has nothing to even work with. Let me know what you think about this one.
This is heterosexual couples taking pictures. Looking straight at the camera, in no way acknowledging that he's next to a woman that is completely out of his league. I did it. I got a man. I'm okay now. He's mediocre and I love him. I don't care that we're splitting the rent, even though he makes $85,000 more than me. I love my man.